Hi, my name is Austin Blackwell. I am a junior here at UC, and today I am going to be presenting you the medulla oblongata. So, of course, I think we would all know what this structure is. We've definitely heard it in this class, and of course, we are in college, so we've probably heard it in our high school classes. But, what is the medulla oblongata? So, I asked some of my roommates if they could point it out in this figure, and really they all struggled to find out until I could tell them where it was. So, if anything, do you think you'd be able to figure out where it is? If not, we are looking right in between the big yellow structure, which is the temporal lobe, and the big red structure right next to it, which is cerebellum. It's right in between that little tiny blue structure where the black lines are. Look right inside of those, that's where the little tiny medulla is. Doesn't seem like it does very much, but honestly, this little structure has a lot to offer us. So, to most of our knowledge, we know the medulla itself is a structure within the hindbrain, which is involves the thalamus, the pons, the midbrain, and the brainstem and the spinal cord. But it is located right before the brainstem that connects directly to the spinal cord. Also within the medulla, it is made up of both myelinated and unmyelinated nerve fibers that are morely intertwined, and it surprisingly makes up a small portion of the reticular formation found nearby. The medulla has two parts of it. It is the ventral side and the dorsal side. These are the two main parts of it, and they both have similar they do similar things to the body, but they do it on different sections of it. And I'll go further into that in the next slides. So, what is its function? How does the medulla actually work? We all know that it does have a much larger purpose than it did. So, one thing that I know about it is that it does control the autonomous functions in our body. It controls things like blinking. It can control stuff in our mouths, like how we produce saliva and even taste. It controls it controls our heart rate, it controls our blood pressure, and it does control major functions for our organs, like how they move, and tells it what to do in general by getting the messages from the brain and making it go down into our spine so it can get there. Something within the medulla is the ventral medulla. It has the pyramids, which contain the cortical bulbar and the cortical spinal tracts, which are also known as the pyramidal tracts. The pyramidal tracts are used to send signals from the brain through the cranial nerves to wherever they need to go down the spinal cord. As the tracks go down the pyramids, these begin to cross, so they they literally just loop, and then that forms the decussation of the pyramids located in the lower half. This crossing of the nerves is a big reason why one side of our body controls the opposite side, which I always thought was something really crazy. So moving on, focusing why this is important. Really, I see the medulla as a headquarters or a main distribution center, for example. The brain, it basically sends everything as being the suppliers. It sends everything down that it wants, and it uses the medulla, which has it has multiple cranial nerves that connects to most of the parts of the body. Uses the medulla to send all of that to where it needs to go, which is in a sense an Amazon distribution center because it gets all the products from its producers and it sends it all the way down to the consumers in a good pace. So the reason why I consider it my favorite is because I see it as much of a hidden hero. This structure is really not talked about whenever you see a teacher or anybody in middle school or early high school presenting the brain and the nerves and how they send signals down. So it's it has so much function with the brain itself, but it's not much of a presentation, if that makes sense, because nobody really talks about it ever, even though it has so much important stuff to do with the body. All right, and that is the end of my presentation. These are the references that I have used for this paper. They helped me a lot whenever I was going through it, and doing this has actually taught me a lot, so I hope me being able to present this to you presented the same amount of information as it did for me. Thank you for watching.